Hey, welcome. This with the my vehicles and all vehicles, I think this is a bit stupid. Where's the Mercedes? Here. AMG GT2. Maserati GT2. The original assetto corsa has more cars. And there's mods you can install even more cars. I had a great time last time with the Huracan. F1 car is gonna be spectacular, of course. I can't decide what car I should use. The closest thing to a normal street car is gonna be this thing. It's probably super slow. Super slow and boring. The GT2 is just a little bit behind. Let's do the modern bands first, and then we do the old bands. Okay. Fuel, max fuel, 120 liters. Traction control. Yeah, zero traction control. ABS. I like ABS. ABS can be useful. Okay. Apply. On a road car, you wouldn't mess with the ABS. You would just leave it on stock all the time. Let's rev this car. Okay. Not bad. Okay, low down. There's nothing. Be careful here with the guardrail. Oh, and the torque hits, it really hits. I've been playing some Team Fortress and listening to some music. But in Team Fortress I have this problem. I can be really strong, but only for a certain amount of time, and after that I will start playing awful. So the last time we drove with the Lamborghini Huracan, and that was really good. It was, I think it is all-wheel drive, right? It is all-wheel drive, and it's rear engine. I think it has a naturally aspirated V12. I'm pretty sure this has a V8 engine. Sounds like it has. Yeah, it has a turbocharger. Might even have 2 turbochargers. 1.7 bar of boost. Turbo lag, not that bad though. The engine is in the front in this car, and it has a really long. The car has a really long bonnet. Brakes feel good. You can slam the brakes. So far the car feels fine. The brakes with this current setup are a bit worse. Than the Huracan. But on the Huracan I had the ABS set up higher. Okay, so this is essentially a competitor of the Lamborghini Huracan. The performance rating on this is a tiny little bit lower. We have already used up 7 liters of fuel. This was maybe like 5 kilometers or somewhere between 5 and 10 kilometers. Trying to get familiar with the car before I really hammer it. So the Lamborghini has a V12 versus this is a V8, I think. But the Lamborghini is naturally aspirated versus this is, I think, twin turbocharged, potentially. I mean, it has definitely at least one charger, but I think it has two. The Lamborghini has all-wheel drive and a rear-mounted engine. But this is lighter. It doesn't weigh as much. Both have 6 gears. Braking is very similar. The only difference is because this car I turned the ABS down a little bit. Other than that, it feels the same. Acceleration is similar. Cornering is similar. The sound of the Lamborghini is way more annoying with the V12. Sounding like a bee in your ears. Or mosquito or something. Top speed, similar. Okay, yeah, this car definitely has downforce. With the Lamborghini I had so much confidence I went through that turn at full throttle the first time. With this car I didn't brake before the turn. Didn't brake. Whoa. Oh, bro. Yeah. Rear wheel drive. I crashed, I wrecked the car after one lap. Oh, bro. This is bad. Guess next, burn through one car, use the next. This wouldn't have happened in Lamborghini with its all-wheel drive. Turbo lag plus rear-wheel drive. Thankfully, this is only a simulation. I have like 100 hours in racing in this simulator, even less. In asseto corsa I have around 100 hours, and this I have like 10, 15 or something. In a real car, before you can drive like this, you'll need hundreds of thousands of hours. The tires actually heat up in this car versus the Lamborghini, they just stayed cold. I think fourth gear pull, the V12 has an advantage. You can definitely hook that RPM much better with the V12 naturally aspirated. Because it revs higher, so you can have more, you have a larger, broader range that you can match your driving, and there's no turbo. It's very, very instant with what it does. But this is fine. It's really okay. It's relatively instant, and it stays at low RPM all the time. It's a bit like feels a bit like a truck, but it reminds me of a truck. But yeah, what I mean is there's like nothing, and then suddenly there's all the power. That's why I crashed, because I didn't expect it. At the top end you have to modulate it much more consciously and much more carefully. That combined with only rear wheel drive and all the weight in the front makes it quite a bit more unstable. Still feels really, really good to drive overall though. It revs 2000 RPM less than the Lamborghini. And I feel like the Lamborghini has a bit more torque instantly. Like if you kick it in fourth gear, it gradually pulls. Yeah, and the engine in the front, it's not ideal for stability. The visibility is a bit better though, even though the engine is in the front. In third gear it pulls really nicely. Cars have the really huge downside versus motorcycles. It's just the weight. Like the heaviest sport bikes, I'm not saying sport touring bikes or cruisers or sport nakeds, I'm saying like purebred sport bike, The heaviest weigh around 220 kilograms. If you use vintage bikes, and the new high performance sport bikes weigh around 190 to 200 kilograms. Even the lightest sporty cars weigh at least 670 kilos. If you take cars like that have minimal comfort features, like for example the KTM X Bow, like full-blown cars, even race cars, weigh around 900 to 1,500 kilograms. That's just so much more weight. Yeah, the engine is bigger. The engine is bigger. It makes a lot more power. But realistically, if you have a sport bike that weighs, let's say 200 kilograms and it has 200 horsepower, that's 1 horsepower per kilogram. To achieve the same in a car, you would need 1,000 horsepower for 1,000 kilograms. This car, for example, it hovers around 500 to 600 horsepower. It's just not the same power to weight ratio. Then you look at all the downforce, because cars need a lot of downforce to be stable at high speeds and drivable. The downforce plus the weight. The downforce plus the weight, you're looking at a real disadvantage for the car. Yeah, at low speed you want to be careful. You want to be careful with at low speeds with the acceleration, you want to be really careful. The tires cannot deliver the sudden eruption of power. Where the car has an advantage against the motorcycle is in braking. You just have 4 big tires with lots of rubber on the ground versus 2 tires where one is a rear tire that only delivers partial braking. Because as soon as you start braking, the weight shifts to the front and the rear brake will not be able to stop as effectively. That plus ABS. And in a motorcycle, the tire, it cannot stop. Like in a car, if you have a little bit too much brake force and the tire locks up for a second, it can be catastrophic, but on a motorbike it's certainly not gonna be possible. The car is not gonna fall over even if the tires lock up for a fraction of a second. With this car, I'm aware, even with the spoiler in the back, most of the weight is in the front. So if it loses grip in the rear, it's gonna send you into the barrier really quickly. There's not a lot of reaction time. Versus with the Lamborghini, I just felt complete confidence. You don't have this super long hood in front of you. This feels really planted, but I'm afraid. I mean, this car probably has really big rear tires. Plus the spoiler, it really helps. The complete opposite would be the Porsche, where the Porsche has all the weight in the rear. So you have the Mercedes, which has all the weight in the front, the Lamborghini, which has the weight in the middle, and the Porsche, which has all the weight in the back. And you have 12 cylinders on the Lamborghini, naturally aspirated, 8 cylinders on the Mercedes with 2 turbos, and 6 cylinders in the Porsche. I'm not sure if it has turbos or not. Probably has turbos. This is around the power that you would have in a 600cc motorbike. But I have to say, this game, the simulator, it feels better than Assetto Corsa, the normal Assetto Corsa, the old one. At least with a controller. It feels like, it might be because these cars are just more modern. But it feels a bit more planted, everything feels a bit more stable. And less twitchy and nervous. But I would say the Lamborghini is faster. It's a better car. The sound it makes is a bit more annoying. It's quite a bit more annoying. It's this really high-pitched V12 sound, which, if you have to endure it for a long period of time, I'm sure it's not pleasant to the ears. Versus this has this lower, more electronical sound, which is nice. But the weight advantage can't outcompete the advantage of having four-wheel drive and a better weight distribution. At least the gearing is very similar. I mean, not in the sense that it's the same, but in the sense that it's both feel natural, intuitive. Both cars, the gearing feels natural and intuitive. There's some cars which I really like the Nissan 350Z and the 370Z, but the gearing is just awful. The car is it's either in a way too high gear where it doesn't accelerate as you would expect, or it's in a low gear and you want to shift up and down and you just completely misjudge the rev range. Versus in these two cars, it feels completely natural. You don't have to think about it. The gear shifts are just as you expect them to be. Feels like this car is quite a bit more bumpy on this long straight than the Lamborghini. We have an 840, considering we were driving really calmly and not aggressive at all. We always get a track warning here, I don't know why. We didn't go off the track limit. Considering we drove extremely relaxed and laid back, 840 is not that bad. With the Lambo I managed, I think 8.7 or 8.12, something like that, but I drove it much more aggressively. I went full throttle around that long straight, even in the turn at the end. I feel like the configuration on this car is really suited for relaxed driving though. The engine doesn't rev like crazy. It's a very narrow, high rev RPM range. Very unaccelerating. Which is, I guess, if you drive, you don't want to just get a short little burst. You want to actually be consistent over a long period of time. Maybe even for 24 hours. Having the car that's more relaxed, laid back, is actually an advantage over a car that's exhilarating to drive, but also really stressful for a long period of time. See, I got a message in chat, but I can't look right now. Okay, I checked my message. Thank you for watching. I have changed my microphone setting a little bit. My mic should be a little bit louder now. Let me know if it sounds good. After we drive this, we empty this gas tank on this car. We will try out the old Mercedes from the 90s and see how it stacks up against this modern car. And you can really slam the brakes. I know with most old cars you can't just slam the brakes like that. You have to cleverly modulate them. But the ABS and the brake setup is really nice. Okay, I'm sorry, the mic is too loud. I have to dial it in. I've set it up like this because when I play other games like Gothic for example, the mic is much further away from me. But when I drive, I'm in this hunched over position. So I'm really close to the mic. Hope it's a bit better now. This car is not as nice, not as fast as the Lamborghini. I'd still prefer this because it's not, the engine is not as loud. It's overall a bit more laid back to drive. But man, the Golf GTI, a few streams ago I drove the Golf GTI in the Audi RS3. Man, the GTI is so unstable at high speed, it's crazy. Like, if the car really drives like this in real life, I cannot imagine you driving this on the highway. It's really nice and fun, all the way up to like 160 kilometers an hour. Oh fuck. It's me thinking about the other car. Now I'm stuck. I was saying the Golf GTI is at 160 plus, it becomes super unstable. If this would have been real life, oh my god, this would have been awful. It's my second crash with this car already since I started streaming 30 minutes ago. This is really stupid from me. But it's what I said earlier, this car, it's really nice and stable and all, but if you do make a mistake with the engine in the front, all the weight bias all the way up front, there's like no chance to save it at all. I'm not driving aggressive at all and I already crashed 2 times. With the Lamborghini I drove really aggressively yesterday. And I made 2, 3, 4 laps without ever crashing. Because this all-wheel drive and the weight, with the weight in the middle, it is just really forgiving and precise, and you always know more or less what the car is doing or what it's gonna do. I made quite a few mistakes with that car and I was able to save it every time. Versus this, there's like no weight in the rear. The only downforce in the rear is from the spoiler. It's not as bad as the Golf. See, right there, almost crashed. I gave it a little bit of full throttle. And the car almost washes out in the rear. That combined with the turbo lag, I really like this new monitor. It looks fantastic. It's really sharp and the colors are great. The blacks are really deep. The performance is okay. My 4080, some games run fine, even with ray tracing, like Resident Evil 4 Remake runs at over 60 FPS, maxed out with ray tracing full, no DLSS. Also this game, it runs good. Some other games run like crap though, like Witcher 3 with Enhanced Edition. Witcher 3 Enhanced Edition, it has like 10 FPS. Gothic Remake has like 5 FPS. I have to try Dead Space remake. Dead Space remake in 2K runs really well too, even with ray tracing. Get like 70 FPS. Let's. Oh my god. Getting a little bit steezy with it. This is I like RTX, it looks nice, and I think RTX is the future. Like 10, 15, 20 years ago, when they made all the nice Pixar movies like Finding Nemo, Shrek, Toy Story, this is all completely ray traced graphics. Like they use ray tracing is just essentially simulating how real light works. It's like light rays, that's why it's called ray tracing. And it's just a different technology which is a lot more demanding as it simulates light. Back then it took like, to render one frame it took hours on a normal PC. And now we have ray tracing in video games where it literally ray traces 60 frames a second, which is crazy. Of course the big budget Pixar movies, the frames that they render are much more complicated than just video game frames, but it's still impressive that it's possible. It's like saying cube maps or shaders are useless. Back then when they were new, they were also really demanding. You needed a really expensive graphics card to be able to use shaders. When Serious Sam 1 came out, and Doom and whatever. Doom didn't even have shaders. The first Doom. But yeah, I get what you mean. The games look like 30-40% better in best case scenario. In some cases they look the same, and you have at least double the performance cost if you enable ray tracing. So I get what you mean. And you need at least a 4070 to be able to use ray tracing. Before I had this computer, I had a computer with a 3050. Yeah, that's like the first 3 generations, like RTX 20, RTX 30, RTX 40. It's like the beginning of the ray tracing. So it's gonna take a lot more years, so it's available on entry-level stuff. Like I had a 3050, and even if you just turn on basic ray tracing, the performance was complete shit. So yeah, I get what you mean. This driving is really nice. This is one of the most difficult tracks in the world. That's the Green Hell in Germany. Yeah, even in real life, it's a really dangerous track because it's really bumpy. It has lots of turns. It's really long and fast. It's really a benchmark. Most car makers come here, test their cars here, and if their car can perform here, they know it's a good car. But even this is like nothing compared to rally racing, with the dirt roads, with snow, with ice. This is a whole new ball game. Rally driving around bumpy forest roads with 150 kilometers an hour. That's what I'm doing right now here. It's not very difficult, I might say. Just casually driving around, trying to not wreck my car. Formula 1 actually stopped racing on this track a long time ago because it's just too dangerous. There's no safety barriers, no sand pits. If you go down at 300 kilometers an hour in a Formula 1 car here, you're pretty much dead. There's actually a movie about that with Niki Lauda, which said, hey people, let's not drive on this crazy dangerous track. It's raining, something's gonna happen. And the other drivers were like, bruh, don't be such a wussy, we can't do it. And Niki Lauda was in first place, or in the front somewhere. And then he had an accident which caused his car to catch fire. And he had his whole face burned up. So then they stopped using this track in F1. And he was like, people, this track is too dangerous, let's quit, let's skip the race. And he was voted against because the other guy, his rival, was like, nah, we can't do it. It's a nice movie. Gotta get the rally game. I don't have it. I will get it though. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but all the weight in the front of the car is a bad idea. If the rear slips out, there's just no way to save it. That plus 2 turbos at 1.7 bar. And if you corner really hard, it's not like a progression where you can feel the car slowly starting to lose grip. It's like the car just instantly loses all grip. You cannot really predict it. If you don't give it any gas, it's fine. Like, let's corner here. You really have to modulate the throttle completely differently than in the V8 and a V12 Lambo. But the brakes are the same. That's the only thing I can say is the same between these two cars. The brakes, both cars have absolutely excellent braking. There's no errors with modulation or anything like that. You can just slam the brakes 100%, which is nice. I mean, you can slam if you go above a certain speed, you can slam the gas and just forget about it, just enjoy the rush. So it's nice that you can also just slam the brakes, knowing the car will not act funky. Many cars have this tendency that if you brake really hard at speed, that will pull you to the left or they will pull you to the right, or in general just be unstable. Versus this car, the braking is just spot on. Okay, yeah, that was full throttle. So it is very similar to the Lamborghini. You can go full throttle around that corner, full speed. and it behaves exactly the same. That's nice. Took me a few rounds to try it. I wasn't as confident in this car, but okay, for some reason the green timer in the middle, it should show me if I'm faster or slower than the previous lap, but for some reason it doesn't show anything. Wonder what my lap record is in this car. It's probably really bad, like 8:30, 8:40, something like that. I will try the old Mercedes touring car later, once we run out of fuel in this car. I will try the rally game. I have not that much money right now. I bought lots of Christmas presents for my family, but in January maybe I buy it. Yeah, I imagine the game probably looks great. I have seen the stream. It's really challenging game. Learning many cars. And the cars all behave differently. What you also have to keep in mind when you compare simulator to real life. Real life drivers, for example, my second hobby next to gaming is cycling, and I have thousands of hours in the saddle on my bicycle. And I imagine if your hobby is driving cars, you're probably gonna have thousands of hours in this driver's seat of real car. Versus on this game I have like not even 10 hours. And in Assetto Corsa, the old one, I have like 150 hours. And you drive around at really high speeds over really challenging tracks. So of course, gotta keep that in mind if you compare. At the beginning you will crash a lot. Just because their time, you don't have the time that you would have in a real car. Or even if you have a real car and you drive it rarely, let's say you just drive once a week or something like that, you're not gonna drive it on the road at 200 kilometers an hour and go in the turns at like 120 kilometers an hour. You're gonna be careful. Even if you would like to do that, it's prohibited. There's a speed limit. Usually the speed limit on most public roads, not the highway. Like backcountry roads, the speed limit is like 70. So even if you go 70, that's considered fast. I'm going 115 right now in turns. You wouldn't do that in real life, even if you have a car that's capable of it. It's just so dangerous. Also, on the track, you always know where you have to go next, because the track is always the same. If you just explore new roads on the public highway or public driving system, you never know, is the turn gonna be sharp, is the turn gonna be smooth, if it's gonna be bumpy, is there gonna maybe be like a weaker member on the road, like a tractor or bicycle or whatever, a camper van. That's so that's what, oh, can you see that? That's what I mean. I just gave it a little bit too much gas and it almost went into the barrier. This is, gotta be really careful with that. Yeah, okay, yeah, this car, you can really tell the all-wheel drive The all-wheel drive is so nice. You can just slam the gas and it always deals with it. Versus this rear-wheel drive plus a turbo lag, it's even at second gear, you can quickly lose the rear-wheel drive. I'm sure rear-wheel drive is not, it has advantages. There's a reason they don't use it. All-wheel drive. There's a reason that not all cars use all-wheel drive. It's lighter if you don't have all-wheel drive, but it's really nice. It's so predictable. Ah, this is annoying. This is something my monitor does. I have to stop here. Every like 2 hours, my monitor goes into like a safety mode. It turns off for a few seconds. I can still use my second monitor on my recording software, my streaming software. I can see what's happening, but the main monitor turns off. It does that to protect itself from burning, from screen burning. You can turn it off, but it's not recommended. You can get screen burning easily. Here's the list of the cars that are in this game. I really like, from a driving point of view, I really like this one. The RS3, it's fast, it goes up to 270 kilometers an hour, has all-wheel drive, is super stable, predictable. It's just overall a nice car. The Golf GTI is even better. The Club Sport, it's front-wheel drive, it's really exhilarating to drive and it's fun. The only issue it has at 170 plus kilometers an hour, it starts to suck really badly. Like the braking is awful. It just pulls all over the place, and it's overall you just give it a tiny little bit of input and it almost flies off the road. It's just terrible. The Ferrari here, the F40 LM, is overall really nice. It's good, drivable, not that bad. It competes with this one, the Porsche 911 Turbo, which also is nice. The brakes are a bit weaker and it's overall not as direct and snappy as the Ferrari. Again, it's because the engine on this is in the rear, so you have almost no weight in the front, all the weight in the rear, versus the Ferrari and the Lamborghini have the weight in the middle, which is overall very balanced. The car that I want to try out now is this one, the old Mercedes. You can see the difference. Wait, this is a BMW. The Mercedes looks kind of similar, this one. Yeah, I'm using maximum brightness all the time because my old monitor is a lot more bright. Yeah, it's just LCD, I know, but it's overall more bright. So my old monitor has also max brightness all the time, and it's still not as bright as the new one. Yeah, well, maybe this is true. I just know my monitor, it does this thing where it says, please turn it off for a minute to protect against OLED burn-in, and you can skip it, but I always let it happen because it's recommended. Anyhow, this is the new Mercedes that we just drove. It looks really awesome. It's a beast. And then this is the old one. It's the same concept, like sporty touring car, but this is from the 90s. So I will try that and see how this. It's a lot shorter in the front. It also has a wing, which is nice. Let's see if we can read something about the car. In the old Assetto Corsa, you always get something to read. Sad, they don't have any information. So the performance is very clearly, this has a performance rating of 20. This has only a performance rating of 11 or of 10. Ten is really not that great. like the Golf has like 16. Okay, anyhow, let's try it. Confirm. This new Assetto Corsa is also nice because it has rain mode. What I always miss in the old game, you have no rain mode and there's no night driving unless you install mods. Versus the new game, it has rain mode and night drive by default. Okay, let's look at this car. Thank you, thank you. Wish you much success with whatever you're up to. Okay, fuel, we put 70 liters. It's a good amount. The old car, the new car has 120 liters of fuel. Let's check the electronics. Okay, this car doesn't have any electronics. It's all analog technology. Tires. What tires are these? Can't see. Yeah, apply. Let's wait. My monitor's back, so we can start the drive now. Let's listen to how this car sounds. Okay. This is naturally aspirated, so we don't have to deal with turbo lag. Revs till 7,500. Oh yeah, this car already feels a bit lighter. Oh, the brakes. The brakes are strong in this. You cannot set the brake bias in this car as it's all analog. I mean, you probably can, but you need a mechanic to do that. Yeah, this has that naturally aspirated feel. That direct, no nonsense. Oh, it's a bit floaty. The gears in this, oh, the gears are not as natural. You're like, okay, I want to upshift or downshift, and it almost destroys the engine. Almost hits the rev limiter. The tires are, the modulation is okay. The brake modulation. The car has significantly less power. Like in second gear it pulls nice. Turns nice and stable and predictable. Third gear has very little pull. I already like this car better than the new one, and I haven't even completed the lap yet. Okay, 140. No, not bad, not bad. Keep in mind this is a road car. The other is a track-only race car. So considering this is a road car, it's from the 90s, it's really not bad. This beats the Porsche easily. It's not as exciting as the Porsche and as exotic, but it's really predictable and stable. I can go around here, no fear at all. Sounds nice. You gotta be a bit careful if you brake from high speed. There is ABS, but it's really... I was looking, second monitor, almost drove off the road. It's nice, they make advertisement in this game for the new Xiaomi car, the phone maker. But the car isn't actually in the game, so you can't try it out, which is sad. And you can tell these tires are road tires because we're not driving crazy and they're already on temperature. Whereas with the Lamborghini and the Mercedes GT car, I can't even get the tires up temperature. I'm just not good enough of a driver. You can't drive hard enough, so the tires get their temperature. Whereas in this, I just drive normally like you would drive a normal car. And the tires are in temperature, which is nice. It's nice that the brakes are a bit too strong, like you can lock up the wheels quite easily, because when the brakes will get hot after, I know this is in this video game, this is not simulated that well, but I have seen there's this channel on YouTube, Misha, he's called Misha, I can't pronounce his last name, Misha Cauldron or something like that. You cannot look it up on YouTube. He basically takes people's cars and drives on the Nürburgring with them, Touristenfahrten. He just takes their car and drives on a track day on the Nürburgring. And many times he complains about when people have the stock brakes in their car, the default brakes, that the brakes will eventually overheat. Either the engine overheats or the brakes overheat, and they essentially have to stop the track, stop the driving after 1 or 2 laps on the track. So if you have brakes that are so strong they can easily lock up the tires, even if you have brake fade, when the brake fluid gets too hot, or the brake calipers get too hot, or something gets too hot, you will still have good braking. So especially if you have a brake that doesn't self-adjust. I'm not actually sure if that's a thing that exists in modern cars, where if the brakes overheat or cool down that the modulation adjusts. I don't think that is a thing. It's better to have stronger braking than to have weak braking, that if you get tiny little bit of brake fade, the car won't stop anymore. This corner at full speed is scary. Yeah, good thing I went down. Good thing I slowed it down a little bit. At full throttle I would have not made that corner. This car is nice and stable and predictable and all, but at really high speeds it feels a lot faster than the GT2 car. Which makes sense, this is a 90s road car. You can easily tell that by the skinny pillars. That's something that all old cars have, is the skinny window pillars. The new cars always have gigantic, thick pillars. It makes a really big difference what car you choose. Some cars you choose are really difficult to drive. Fast at least. Where the car is fast enough and stable enough and predictable enough to tempt you to go really hard. But if you actually drive it hard and you don't know what you're doing, you crash easily. And then there's cars that are just boring because they're not fast and not exhilarating, like not to hate on that car, but an example would be the AE86, GR86, whatever it's called. It has only 150 horsepower. So yeah, it's rear wheel drive and all. It's just not fast enough in a simulator to really, on a track like the Nürburgring. It takes around 10 minutes for a lap if you drive it fast. I'm sure in real life that car is awesome fun, because in real life 100 kilometers an hour feels really fast, but in the simulator it feels like nothing. So the car is just not really that powerful. Then you have cars like the Ford GT or the Shelby Cobra, which, yeah, they are crazy fast cars, especially considering their age. But you make one tiny mistake and you're already in the barrier. It's like, this is in the middle. It's nice and predictable, but it's not completely boring to drive. It's a nice car. That was like 80% brake pedal. Worked nice. Sounds nice. Most of the time the turbo lag is no problem. But that 1% of the time when you just want to give it a little gas out of the corner and you just misjudge. And you misjudge the input. I wonder what engine this has. It's probably a V6 or a V8. I'd be surprised if this is a 4-cylinder. A 4-cylinder engine wouldn't be this fast. Especially not a 90s one without a turbocharger. So it's at least a V6. Maybe a V8. About that OLED burn-in thing, it might not be common, it might not happen all the time, but I have seen people with screens that had awful screen burn-in, on phones even. I've seen it a couple of times. I know my watch, my smartwatch has an OLED display and it's on all the time. And it is on the same screen all the time, and it doesn't have burn-in. But I have seen people with smartphones where they fall asleep with the keyboard on and they have disabled the feature that automatically turns the phone off. And when they woke up, they had the keyboard permanently on their screen. Which, if you pay a lot of money for a phone, a TV, or a monitor, you really don't want to have that. Okay, so I didn't know what time we made. But I know even LCD monitors can technically get burn-in. But in LCD, I know for sure it's super rare. Like, you have to have the same image on there for like forever till it burns in. Oh man, this car is so nice. I wasn't sure what to expect when I selected this car. It looks like nothing special. But man, is it nice. It's a really nice car. Let's go up here full throttle and slam the brakes. Let's listen to that engine. Lift a little bit so the car stays under control. Slow down gradually. Give it enough time to slow down. If you gradually increase the brake pressure, the tires don't lock up, which is nice. Even though this is rear-wheel drive, it's not an issue. The balance is good. And the power is manageable so that the tires don't completely crap out. Brakes are strong. if I had to rank, if I had to rank the German car manufacturers tier list, ooh, I'd say number one goes to Volkswagen, because they just, I mean, for example, Bugatti is essentially a Volkswagen. They have just bought so many companies. Most Volkswagens are boring economy standard cars, nothing exciting. But they have a few cars that are just so cool, like the ID Pikes Peak e-car that has a record on the Nürburgring, second place I think, and has beat Pikes Peak. And then they have like, okay, yeah, it's not technically Volkswagen, but they have like cool cars like the Bugatti with the V16 engine. Then you have cars like the Golf GTI, which are semi-affordable, performance-oriented hot hatchbacks that are a blast to drive, I bet, in real life. And their economy cars like the or they're more affordable cars like the, what's it called, T-Roc, the Golf, the Lupo, all the cars that they make are decent at least. So I would rank them number one with Audi, Mercedes and BMW. I'd say second place is Mercedes. Not all of their cars are super cool. I think the B-Class is ugly. But all their cool cars that they have are really, really cool. The AMGs look cool. Audi has so-so, like they have cool cars. Like the Audi TT is really nice. The R8 is nice. But it's not as nice as what Mercedes has. Where Mercedes doesn't really have I mean, yeah, okay, Audi has the Audi R8. Mercedes has the AMG 1, which crushes the R8 in every aspect. It's also much newer. I would say last is a BMW. I don't like BMW very much. Their cars are still cool, like the M4. But for me it's last place. Wish everybody that sees this a happy Christmas. It's Christmas soon. Happy New Year. An enjoyable time with family or alone. But I think every car manufacturer has at least one cool car. Like the BMW GT LM hypercar. It looks really cool. I really like it. I like it more than the Porsche 919 Evo. Yeah, I know. That's Volkswagen has bought many companies. I believe Skoda as well. It's a huge company. They own so much stuff. Thank you for the wishes. To you too. I'm really enjoying my time right now with this nice, enjoyable car. so much better than the new Mercedes, this old one. If I had to choose one to funky with it too, even though it has about half the horsepower, even less. Full brakes, 80% brake, 90% brake, into the gas, around the turn. Downshifting for the speed. Nice. Here. Oh, my hands are starting to freeze. This is a downside if you have a controller. You have to make so fine adjustments the whole time that your hands will cramp and start to get numb. Bet if you have a real steering wheel that will happen too, but much less. We are now 8 minutes 40 seconds in the lap. So yes, this car is so much slower than the other car. And if you keep in mind, this car is more fun. But if you keep in mind that the other car goes at least 50 kilometers an hour faster the whole time, it's crazy how stable it is. But this is genuine fun. And this car is all analog. There's no traction control, no stability control. Basic ABS only. Classic cars are nice, that's true. I like classic cars. I like new cars. I like classic cars. There's nice old cars, terrible new cars. There's also terrible old cars. One example that I always think of when I think about old cars is the Ford GT. When the tires are cold, that car has so much power, man. It's hard to handle. This is just perfect. This is like relaxed enough. You can look at the scenery, the trees, but not so bad that it is. Now I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe I give it a little bit too much brake. Was a really nice idea to try this car. Really paid off. Braking a little bit, downshifting, giving a little bit of throttle, full gas, 80%. Okay, that was 70% brake, full throttle. Nice and smooth. 180 up the hill, letting the car slow down. Smooth around the turn. Giving it a little gas. Giving it gas. The apex. Fourth gear. Fifth gear. Over the crest. Ah, my hands are falling asleep. That's bad. Ah, crap, man. Oof. My hands are falling asleep. Yeah, but I'm not gonna lie, that was my mistake. I gave it way too little brakes. I thought I could deal with that, but I gave it not enough brake. There's this very lucky that there is sand there, So I wouldn't have totaled the car, but this surely would have given me some nice scratches on the rims. If there wouldn't have been the sand right there, I would have slammed into the barrier and totaled the car. This is a common issue I always have. I am either too hard on the brakes or too gentle. Guess it's an experience issue. That's one thing I gotta say, what the GT car does really well. On the GT car, braking is very easy because you can just like this 100% brake and it's always enough. It's always stable. Versus in this car, if you give it 100% brake, the ABS kinda hangs in there, but not really. So you gotta give it that sweet spot, like 90%. Some corners it's 70%. That sweet spot of braking. And if you don't quite hit that sweet spot, you go like a bit too little, and the car just doesn't stop at all. If you give it all 100% brake power, it just locks up the tires. Thanks to that little incident, our lap time is now plus 38. It's one of the worst feelings in racing game. If you crash your car, you have such a nice flow going on, and then you crash the car. Oh yeah, I can imagine that. 600 kilometers, that's a long distance. And you have to deal with traffic. You have to deal with traffic and all the rules of the road, and you gotta stay awake and alert. I can imagine. That's very impressive, 600 kilometers. If I had to rate this car in fun, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. This is an 8 out of 10. I give the new Mercedes a generous 7 out of 10. So, slam the brakes 90%. Let's not talk the whole time, let's enjoy a little bit the car sounds. Can we drift? Can drift a little bit. That wind, that gentle wind noise. Thankfully we don't have to worry about clutch. Can just shift gears. Get off the gas. Brake, get off the gas, shift. Get some. Little bit of over reffing there. Nothing serious. Giving a little bit of a throttle blip every once in a while. I'm not a driver in real life. I don't drive cars. I'm a cyclist though. My second hobby is cycling next to video games. And my longest cycling trip, it was 300 kilometers in a day. My hands were so numb after around 150 kilometers. And I had issues with the bike. My shifter, it stopped working normally. I had to use at least 2 times the force that I would normally have to use. I wasn't sure if my hands were just failing because they were so cold, or if the shifter broke. In the end, I knew it was the shifter, but at that moment I didn't know that. It was 16 hours constant driving. No, that is not true. It was 13 hours constant driving and 3 hours of break. But at least on a bicycle, you're not fast enough to have to worry about cornering. You don't have to worry about traffic. It was a closed course. Or a closed road rather. It was public roads, but it was closed off. All the 300 kilometers. Was a nice experience for sure. It doesn't even mentally, it doesn't even come close to driving, I imagine. Where you have to deal with traffic. And you have to navigate, you have to figure out where to go. Whereas on a closed course, you just have to follow the signs. So we have used up 20 liters of fuel. We have driven around 2 laps. Yeah, 2 laps. It's okay. We were able to take this high-speed corner at full throttle. Man, this car is incredible. That small little blunder issue that I had there where I drove into the sand, that was sucked. But other than that, really enjoying my time here. The performance of this car is surprisingly good, too. It's really intuitive to drive. There's nothing major where you have to be consciously thinking about, oh, I have to pay attention to that, or I have to think about this. Just gotta keep in mind you can't slam the brakes 100%, but other than that, it's super intuitive. Up here, just getting off the gas a little bit to make the turn. No need to brake. I drove a car in real life one time. I don't have a driver license, but we went with my family. We went to a driving closed course where you can try out driving without a driver license, and it was fun. If you have a manual transmission car, and you have to use the clutch and gears and reverse and all that stuff. It's challenging. It's not as easy as in this video game. All I have to do here if I want to shift is press X or X or Q and it shifts. But in a real life car it's much more difficult. Also, I think the trigger with the gas is easier than the gas pedal. At least if you want to start the car and you have to get into first gear and then give it a little bit of throttle and add a little bit of clutch and all that. If you have no experience to try it for the first time, it's kind of difficult. I was able to get the car started and drive around, but sometimes it took me, I stalled the car a few times. Once the car is moving, it was pretty smooth though. I don't have a driver license. Driver license where I live is super expensive. Like even if I wanted to do it, it's a major investment. Driver license is like 3,000 euro. Plus if you want a car, even a used car, it's gonna be super expensive. Not just the price of the vehicle, but you have to keep paying taxes, fuel, insurance. So driving is really expensive. You need a place to store the car, a garage or something like that. If the car has any kind of issue, mechanic is crazy expensive. Even just a small issue is gonna cost you almost 1,000 euros, even something small like a flat tire or whatever. So you basically, if you have a car, half of your pay goes straight to the car. And there's like literally no limit. It doesn't matter how much you earn. You can just always go with the next more expensive car. And you will always end up with paying lots. Like let's say you're a millionaire, right? Then you buy a Ferrari and it costs 500,000 euro and half of your pay is gone. If you earn, let's say 100k a year, you buy, I don't know, a Hyundai or a Golf GTI or even a cheap Mercedes, half of your pay is gone. Yeah, okay, if you're like Elon Musk or like Jeff Bezos or something like that, you can buy the most expensive cars and it's not gonna hurt. But any kind of normal person with any kind of normal job, even a CEO or whatever, you can always pick a more expensive car and pay most of your cash into the car. There's no limit. What's nice about a car is it's warm. You can drive, if you have a long way to work, car is the only way. Train is really unreliable here. They often fail, their train is missing or it comes way too late. Bus, there's no bus for long distances. If you drive more than 10 kilometers, you need a car. I myself, I used to have work. I had to take 2 trains. I used to have to take 2 trains to work. It was so frustrating and so exhausting. So if you have a nice car, you just in the morning, you get up, you drink your coffee, you get into your car, start the heater. Maybe if you have a little bit better car, you start seat heating, steering wheel heating. You can comfortably drive to work. If you are really close to work, you can just walk. I myself, I'm lucky I can cycle to work. It takes around 15 minutes. It's not that bad. Worst case scenario, you have a wife or a girlfriend and you need two cars because she has different work hours than you, or she works in a different location. So you have to pay all the taxes, all the mechanic, all the registration and insurance twice. That's gonna be expensive. Yeah, exactly. And then you have this movement where people are more and more against cars, so they make less and less parking spaces. In the city I lived, there was a big parking space. They just turned it into a flower grass place, what you call it. They just removed the parking spaces and essentially planted flowers and grass there. And people were like, bruh, where am I supposed to park my car? But there's now this movement that is pro cars, at least here in Germany. Everybody is like, oh, we want the electric cars, we want no cars, everybody take the bus. And now there's this counter movement where they're like, but we need our cars. Electric cars are dangerous, they cause the same amount of pollution. Yeah, they don't use fuel to drive, but to make them takes tons of fuel. To transport them, to make the batteries. Once they catch fire, you can't really deal with that. I myself, I'm neutral. I like cars. I like the theory. I like racing. I like that people have the freedom to drive wherever they want, whatever they want, if they can afford it. I also like electric cars. I think it's cool. Like, they can be exciting, like Volkswagen, the Pikes Peak hill climb car, electric car, fastest car up the Pikes Peak hill climb. About politics, I'm not getting into politics, I don't care. I'm just saying I like from a technology point of view, I like both electric cars and normal cars. I think if you want the optimal solution, you can make fuel based out of plants. Like, you can take sweet corn and turn sweet corn into oil and that oil into fuel. The problem I see is you can do it, but even for cars it might be possible, it might not be an issue, just to make all the fuel based out of plants. I have even heard you can suck the carbon dioxide or carbon monoxide or whatever it's called. You can suck it out of the air and put it back into fuel. The problem is it's just super expensive and complicated, and you just need so much fuel for all these trucks on the road and for the ships and for the planes. How are you gonna... You literally need to plant the entire earth full of sweet corn to be able to do that. Yeah, and you have to get all the energy from wind or from water turbines or from dam or solar. You can't do that if you have just like a few houses that turn on their lights, maybe a computer or two. But let's say you want to have all these AI stuff. You literally have warehouses full of GPUs. Every single one of them draws like 300 watts. And you want all the trucks on the road and the ships. How are you going to turn the ships with electricity? But I have to say though, it is true that it gets warmer. When I was a little kid, I'm 29 years old. When I was a little kid, we had lots of snow every year. There was literally a meter high snow every single year. And now we had, for the last at least 10 years only ever had snow at least max 1 week. This year we had 1 day of snow so far. It, every year sets a new record for highest temperature recorded. I'm not saying that's 100% because of cars. There's also people that say it's just natural that sometimes it is warm and sometimes it's cold and it just changes over the years. I'm not knowledgeable enough. I have not done enough research to say for sure 100% it's one way or the other. I can easily think about taking ice cream and holding it at your exhaust of the car. How long will that ice cream remain cold? Probably not very long. It's gonna melt. Now on a global scale, you don't have ice cream, you have big giant mountains of ice in the polar region. But you don't have just one car, you have like millions and millions of cars running in trucks and boats and planes. So yeah, if you hold all of this exhaust against the ice, even without the atmospheric condition from the gases, just the pure heat output, it's gonna melt some ice. And now you combine that with all the gas in the atmosphere that makes, I'm not sure what's called in English, the climate effect that it causes, the greenhouse effect. I can't see why that makes the climate change. Anyhow, I'm positive these problems will be resolved over time in some way or the other. EVs might not be the solution, but people will come up with a solution. They always do. Back when this car was released that I'm driving right now, there wasn't even AI. It was a fiction. If you would have told them that in 10 years or 20 years you will have robots that mow your lawn, clean your floor, you will have a fridge that is literally powerful enough, a normal fridge that makes ice cubes is powerful enough to play AAA games from back then, like Doom, the first Doom. You can now literally play it on a smart fridge. People would have thought you're crazy. I misshifted. What is kind of sad is that we need to use so much wood for paper. Like the amount of paper that I walk in a store, and the amount of paper we throw away is crazy. It's like literally everything you have in your house, all your food is packed into paper. Everything, from your smartphone to your apples, everything is wrapped in paper. And you need to use trees for paper. Where like plants, I don't care, like tomatoes or sweet corn or whatever, because it grows fast and you can make an infinite amount of it. But trees, it's just sad. Trees take a long time to grow. There's some trees that grow fast, which I wouldn't count in this, like bamboo, which is technically a grass, I think. But most trees take like 20 years to grow. But then again, I'm not sure which trees exactly are used for paper. It might just be some tree that doesn't grow that slow and that you can just farm a lot of. This car is so relaxing to drive. I'm not even thinking about it at all. I'm just going round and round. 4 laps already. Almost half the fuel tank is empty. This is peak engineering. It looks nice, it drives nice, it's fun. If you want to go a little crazy, you can. Should turn on the rain and see how it drives in the rain with no aids. Driver aids. Sounds great. I wonder how much horsepower it has. The game sadly has no info page about the cars. I highly doubt that if you have a super expensive, I don't know, Ferrari, that it's more fun than this. The Ferrari is just gonna give you headaches when driving. Every time you have a corner, you're like, can I make it at this speed? Every time you give it gas, you're like, will the tires slide out? This is just okay. Let's talk about plants and how long it takes to grow them and stuff. The only thing I would criticize a little bit, the gearing is... Yeah, take care, man. The only thing I would criticize a little bit in this car is the gearing is not 100% how you expect it. Like, you over or under rev it a little bit, but other than that, the car is perfect. I'm sure a talented driver can get some good times out of this car. Have a nice meal, have a good grub. Enjoy your food. Appreciate it that you stayed here for so long. I will empty this fuel tank, and whenever something comes in my mind that I want to talk about, I will. In third gear, the car is still playful. I would consider it playful. But hey, considering what Mercedes tried to do, big V8 engine in the front, 2 turbos, rear wheel drive, in a lightweight car, considering all that, it drives really nice. It's similar to this, just a bit faster, and that tiny little bit. It just, this car, we are now doing 4 laps. I washed out 0 times. I had this one little incident when I went into the sand, but there was 100% driver error. I didn't brake hard enough. By the time I realized that I'm not braking hard enough, it was too late. If you're not chasing times, if you're just driving for fun, this beats the new car. But the new car is still surprisingly good and similar to this. Tops out at 210, 200. It's not too bad. It's remarkably stable here. It sounds nice. I like the noises it makes. If you don't brake more than 90%, it brakes really nice too. I always get a track warning here. I'm not sure why. We have now 5 laps. 5 laps equates to 100 kilometers. Wait. 20 times 5. 20 times 5, how much is that? My math is terrible. 10 times 5 is 50. 20 times 5 is 100, right? Either way, the tank of gas gets depleted quick. But this is constantly pinning the throttle and driving really fast. Sure, if you drive within the speed limit at reasonable RPMs and you don't constantly floor it, it's gonna last a whole lot longer. I can see this in my grandpa's car whenever I am in his car. Whenever he just steps on the gas a little bit up a hill or something, the car shows how much estimated range you have, how much fuel you're gonna use for 100 kilometers. It jumps from like 5 to like 30 whenever he steps on the gas. And that's a relatively small 4-cylinder engine, which is also newer, so it has more technology for the fuel efficiency in this. Flying up here, braking with confidence, giving a little throttle blip. Yeah, okay, if I would have given it a little more gas there, I would have slided out. So you can't slide out in this car at low gears. Yeah, now 3 seconds faster. 4 seconds. Wow. Okay, that was a bad shift. I was able to save it, but $35.6 liters left. We've gone through most of our fuel. I wonder if this car has some type of VTEC or any kind of system like that, which increases fuel flow at high speeds, high RPMs. Okay, the car revs to around 7,000 RPM. If you have a vintage Golf GTI, I think this car will wipe the floor with that. I'm sure this car also costs a lot more. We actually went through the whole 60 minutes of practice. Crazy. Felt like nothing. The brakes are smooth. You just can't give it too much. But I kinda like it that they lock up a little at the top end of your braking stroke at 100% pedal. Gives the car a bit more character. If this car had 6 gears, it had a little bit less character, but it would be a bit more drivable, driver friendly. But I'm sure when this car released, even 5 gears was luxury. Most cars probably had like 4 gears. So we managed 5 laps and the fuel tank is still 30 liters. This is remarkably efficient. To get this kind of fuel usage in real life, you would have to be constantly on the highway, pushing it as hard as you can. Okay, 9:49. Nice. Okay. Lap time. Practice, we finished it. We had 5 laps, all over 10 minutes except the last one. How can I get my replay? Replay. Save. Let's just quickly look at the car driving. Wow, well, but this car is special. I will quickly go out to the bathroom. Give me a minute. You can watch this while I go. Okay. It's some nice I want to I would enjoy driving this car some more. We have the time, so we can I want to change it to rain. Heavy rain, and see how the car performs in the rain. 60 minutes heavy rain. I could make it heavy rain at night time. It's nice and cozy in the cabin. Yeah, you can tell. You can tell it's raining for sure. The brakes lock up way easier. There's much less grip. We have the same road compound. The gearbox has me a little worried. If you try to drive it a bit more sporty, you can lock up the gears if you misshift. Ah, we have only 30 liters of fuel. Crap. I forgot to change that setting. Whoa. Yeah, you saw that? Full throttle, car rear slides out. But it's savable in this car. I can't see shit. So far, this is from all the cars I tried in this simulator. This one is my favorite. Man, the rain, it makes it really hard to see where you're going. The wipers are a necessity. I broke way too late there. You can definitely tell the braking performance is heavily reduced in the rain. And it's a bit floatier. Like normally this car is 100% planted. With the heavy rain it's a bit floaty. Which, man, GG, GG. Considering how wet it is on the road, it's not much, except visibility, not much downside. This is in the rain. Driving is not nice because you can't see anything. You cannot see. Yeah, go back to main menu. Let's go back to a clear. See what else we can drive. Oh, my phone. I have to mute my phone. I wonder this GT5. Renault 5 GT Turbo is probably nice. The car selection is definitely better in the old Assetto Corsa. Let's try this thing. In white. Should we... Yeah, notch life. Heavy rain is nice, but you can't see anything. Heavy rain? Okay, let's try this car in the rain. Feel it somehow. First, let's listen to how it sounds. Okay, this revs a lot slower than the Mercedes. Okay, there's no power at low RPM. No power at all. And I'm flooring it and it barely goes forward. It's a boosted engine. Oh yeah, but then when the turbo and the RPM and it kicks. Almost misshifted there. Man, this car's loud. Visibility is a bit better than with the Mercedes in this car, in the rain. Before I start driving more, I have to change some settings. Fuel and strategy. More fuel. Okay, so this car apparently takes 57 liters of fuel. Let's drive. I want to do another change. I want rain and night. Rain, yes. And weather. Heavy rain, yes. Where can I set the time? Yes, alright, that's fine. Starting time 23. Make it 22:15. Practice duration is fine. Time multiplier is fine. Heavy rain at night. Let's see. Wow, this is crazy. The acceleration down low is really bad. Oh, I get GPU graphics errors. I forgot to set the fuel. Max fuel. Okay, I get some graphics errors in this. You know what? I don't really wanna. It is fun. I don't really wanna play this like this. There's artifacts on my screen. I will have to report this to the company, and I will have to quit this because I'm not sure if this harms my system if there's artifacting. But I will try. I've done enough car driving now. I want to try some motorcycle. We try some motorcycling. Unreal Engine, nice. We have to change some settings first before we can start driving. Settings, video, 4K, yes. Windowed mode, no. Frame rate limit is fine. Everything is up max, that's nice. Yeah, now it looks nice. We do time trial, take track Europe. Nürburgring. Bike. Now this is interesting. Wow, this thing looks cool. This thing also looks cool. We stick with our favorite brand, Honda. The Fireblade. I want to take a look at my personal leaderboard. Can I switch to everything? I kinda wanna try one bit more extreme bike though. This bike is crazy. This bike has actually pretty bad stats all around. Whatever, let's try it. Sad that the asseto corsa has artifacting. I'm not sure what the problem is. I don't want night. Time compression is only 1. And starting time is not random, it's 12. 12:30. Oh, this game looks a lot worse than the new Assetto Corsa, that's for sure. So the shifting is different in this motorcycle thing. I will start it off real easy because I haven't played this in a long time. In this game there's no fuel, so you can ride forever. It's the same track as before, just this time with a motorcycle rather than a car. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, the acceleration on the motorbike is just crazy compared to the car. I'm a bit worried, because with the motorcycle you have to pick your lines carefully and be smooth. There's a bit of artifacting in this game too. I hope my GPU is not crapping out. Especially second gear and third gear is brutal on a motorbike like this. This is 170, it feels like nothing. The challenges with the motorbike are very different from the challenges with the car. You don't have to worry about washing out or oversteering. You have to be more worried about taking the corner with a bad line, incorrect, being too fast. Underestimating or overestimating the brakes. So far the brakes feel okay. My front tire is cold, but at the speeds we're doing, it makes no difference. This is, for example, an area where it can very easily mess up. I wasn't going very fast, but it was already at the limit. Full speed on the straight. Wow, this is fast. 296 kilometers an hour. Let's not go too fast around here. I'm not sure how the bike will behave. So we slowly get in the front tire to warm up. I have to really quickly be AFK. Let's hope I don't crash on re-entry. Ah, it's fine. The biggest danger motorcycling in this simulator is you're overestimating your ability to corner. It's a fine line between taking the corner perfectly and completely screwing up. This corner is tricky. Thankfully, most motorcycles are naturally aspirated, so the response is very direct. The only motorcycle in this game which is not naturally aspirated is the crazy H2. front tire is at least not ice cold anymore, which means I'm driving faster than before, harder. The braking distances are just a bit longer than with an equal car. An equal performance tier car. (9:11). We have improved by over a minute. I will try to focus on being smooth instead of ripping the throttle like an idiot. Also important, after you brake there's a small delay between the braking, where the braking ends, and your bike stabilizes again. Like I start brake, 1, 2, 3, have to be really smooth. 8:45. Now we enter the territory where every little gain is difficult to get. I mean, 8:45 is still really slow for a super bike. But for me, On the long straight, our tires are gonna cool down, at least the front tire. So far it's still warm. Almost drive into the pole, can you believe if I would have done that? $8.29. But I was full focus, you could tell I wasn't talking at all. Just trying to beat my time. You can see my ghost up in the front. It's very unlikely that we'll beat my time. Without crashing and embarrassing ourselves. So far we are about 1 second behind. Two seconds behind. Doesn't look like we will be able to catch our old. But even in the simulator, you can tell that with the motorcycle you're more at one with the machine versus in a car where it's like you steering a boat. The braking times are awfully long though. Oh, we are 4 seconds behind. No matter. I know you can do sub 8 minutes with this bike on this track in this condition. 7:45 is possible. But I highly doubt that we will even catch our ghost. Yeah, we're 6 seconds behind. We're not gonna be able to catch ourselves. managed in 8:15. But I gotta cool it down a little bit. If I keep going this, pushing it this hard, I will eventually screw up. We're 4 seconds behind already. That's crazy. Let's go easy mode for a while. Calm it all down. You know what? I'm gonna do the reasonable thing. I'm tired. I drove for 3 hours. I will end it on a high note before I get tired and mess up. And say later.